Chapter 2. The bridge of the battle barge resonated with activity as Captain Zavis entered through the massive doorway, the ancient dragon skull sculptures seeming to watch his passage with hollow eyes. The guardsman's cry echoed off the vaulted ceiling, and the bridge crew snapped to attention with practiced precision. After giving his command to stand at ease, Zavis surveyed the bridge. Serfs and crew members returned to their stations, their movements careful and efficient. The main view screen dominated the forward wall, displaying the swirling chaos of the warp beyond their Geller field. Combat servitors stood at their posts, their augmetic components humming softly. "Status report," he commanded, moving to take his position in the command throne. The drake hide cloak settled around him as he sat, the scales catching the red warning lights that pulsed steadily along the bridge's perimeter. The officer of the watch approached, data slate in hand. "My lord, we maintain stable course through the warp. The navigator reports unusual currents, but nothing that threatens our passage. All systems functioning within normal parameters." Zavis nodded, his red eyes reflecting the ethereal light from the view screen. The weight of his sleepless night pressed upon him, but his enhanced physiology kept his mind sharp. The visions he'd shared with the initiates lingered in his thoughts as he watched the impossible colors of the warp twist and writhe beyond the ship's protective barriers. "And our families?" he inquired, thoughts turning to the civilian passengers aboard. "Resting comfortably, Lord." The celebrations took much out of the younger ones. There was a hint of warmth in the officer's otherwise formal tone. Zavis settled deeper into his command throne, feeling the familiar connection to his ship and crew. Another day of void travel began, but something in the air felt different. Whether it was the shared visions of the night before or something else entirely, he couldn't say. But a space marine learned to trust such instincts. "Maintain course," he ordered, "and have Tech Marine Ferrum report to the bridge when he's finished his morning rituals. I want another look at that star chart." Captain Zavis studied the daily reports being handed to him by Lieutenant Kell, a veteran guardsman whose service record spoke of countless engagements. The drake hide cloak shifted as Zavis leaned forward in his command throne, scanning the information with enhanced vision. "Ammunition stores at 93% capacity," he read aloud. "Geller field maintaining optimal strength. Void shield integrity holding steady." Each detail was crucial for their journey through the treacherous warp. The steady thrum of the engines provided a constant backdrop to the bridge's activities. Outside the massive steel doors, the rhythmic sound of power-armored boots echoed. Morning patrols and squad rotations keeping the battle barge secure. "My lord," Lieutenant Kell spoke up, "engineering reports some unusual readings from the port plasma reactors. Nothing critical, but Tech Marine Ferrum was notified before beginning his morning rituals." Zavis nodded, his red eyes still scanning the reports. The mention of unusual readings caught his attention. After the shared visions of the previous night, any deviation from normal operations warranted closer scrutiny. The background noise of marching feet grew louder, then faded again as another patrol passed the bridge. The familiar sounds of a space marine vessel at war footing, boots on metal decking, the distant echo of liturgical chants, the ever-present hum of ancient technologies, all combined into a symphony of purpose and power. "Have the navigator report to the bridge as well," Zavis commanded. "I want to know if these reactor fluctuations correspond to any changes in the warp currents." He continued reviewing reports, waiting for his officers to arrive, while the battle barge pressed onward through the swirling madness of the Empyrean. "Captain," Tech Marine Ferrum began, his mechadendrites gently holding the ancient data slate as he approached the command throne. The soft red glow of his cybernetic eye cast a faint, crimson sheen on the metallic surfaces of his augmented face. After extensive analysis and communion with the machine spirits, I've determined this star chart references a region far beyond the Imperium's standard cartographic records. Captain Zavis leaned forward, his drake hide cloak shifting with the movement. Explain further, brother. The coordinates indicate a sector approximately 30 degrees galactic north of the Ghoul stars, my lord. It's a region the Imperium has never fully explored due to intense warp storms and gravimetric anomalies. Ferrum's mechadendrites connected to a nearby data port, bringing up a hololithic display of the region. What's most intriguing is that these coordinates are marked with symbols that predate standard Imperial navigation runes. Lieutenant Kell stepped closer to examine the display, his eyes widening at the swirling map of unexplored space. Ferrum continued, his augmetic voice carrying a note of fascination. The age of these markings suggests this chart may originate from the dark age of technology, or perhaps... He paused, considering his words carefully. Even earlier. Zavis's red eyes narrowed. What makes you say that? Some of these symbols, Lord, they bear similarities to artifacts recovered from worlds that showed signs of human habitation during the Golden Age. But there are other markings I cannot reconcile with any known human language or coding system. The bridge fell silent, save for the constant hum of engines and the soft whirring of Ferrum's mechanical components. The implications of his words hung heavy in the air. Chapter 3. Captain Zavaus turned to his brother. Ferrum, take that information to the library. As you command, my lord, Techmarine Ferrum replied with a slight bow, his mechadendrites carefully cradling the precious data slate. Though, if I may suggest, Zavis cuts in, the young initiate Marcus showed particular insight during night studies. His understanding of ancient texts could prove valuable in this research. Have him assist you, along with Epistolary Varro's apprentice, Keaton. Their different perspectives might reveal something we've missed. As Ferrum turned to leave, his red robes swirling around his cybernetic limbs, Zavis added, "And brother, pay special attention to any symbols that match what we saw in our..." He paused, aware of the bridge crew. "Our recent observations." "Understood, Captain," Ferrum acknowledged, his augmetic eye glowing briefly brighter. The massive doors opened with a pneumatic hiss, and the Techmarine's form disappeared into the corridor, the sound of his mechanically enhanced footsteps fading away. On the bridge, Zavis returned his attention to the swirling warp displayed on the main view screen, his drake hide cloak settling around his shoulders like living armor. Something told him the answers they sought lay in both the ancient data slate and their shared visions, pieces of a puzzle they had yet to fully understand. The bridge doors hissed open as Sister Abigail entered, carrying a steaming cup. Several crew members nodded respectfully. The Barge Mothers, as they were known, held a special place of honor among the salamanders. "Ah, Sister Abigail," Captain Zavis called from his command throne, his drake hide cloak shifting as he turned. "How goes the schooling of our young ones?" "My lord," she bowed slightly, her red eyes glowing warmly as she handed him the traded beverage. "The children are thriving, though still quite excited from yesterday's celebrations." Zavis breathed in the rich aroma. "And their studies?" "Making good progress," she smiled, adjusting her simple green teaching robes. "Though they seem more interested in reenacting battles with their toy bolters than learning High Gothic at the moment."